Welcome back to Metropole TV, The Smart Investor. My name is Alikan Sachu, and here we've got in the studio Kai-Uwe Wulff, the Executive Vice President of Technology at Balton CP. Kai, I was remembering that you were my first guest on Mindspeak all those years ago. You're a pioneer in the technology space.
You're saying I'm old.
No, I'm not, but I'm saying I wouldn't dare.
Good.
And what is old these days, right? It's like
Correct.
120 or something.
Yes.
So, Kai, pleasure to be catching up with you after all this time. You're expanding the technology group in Balton CP, a leader in solutions in security, cybersecurity, building management, software integrations, radio communication. This is all the heart and soul of the business that you've been in since I've known you.
Yes.
Yes. So what I wanted to just touch on first, give us a macro perspective on what's happening in the technology space as you see it, and what is the opportunity?
Yeah. I think the biggest opportunity is not really anymore in those incremental developments of the technology itself.
So an example of an incremental development.
Well, there's all kinds of permutation of software that organizes, let's say, transport, like Uber, that organizes charging stations, parking stations, and so on. These are all things that I consider the initial idea to disrupt the business case was revolutionary.
Yes.
The technology that makes it happen is actually just an incremental step. We didn't develop 5G networks because we needed 5G for what we were doing. Somebody says, what if the whole world, I'm one of those people who are saying, what if the whole world stops thinking about larger jobs or larger buckets of things to do and breaks them down into micro tasks that either are automated or either are distributed randomly to the person who is the best capable at any given time to fulfill them. What you need for this is now real time. Now, the whole 5G is not for more capacity only. It was made to now being enabling a society to act in real time like you're standing next to somebody. So you're taking the resources of 7 billion people and you're concentrating them in the smallest little corner you're standing, and you can actually be a competitor in any technology if you just know how to distribute those tasks that you need to do. So the traditional concept of organizations and companies and brick and mortar, and I need this.
Is it being reconfigured?
I hope so.
Oh, it hasn't been yet.
It hasn't been
But
yet.
you're predicting it's going to be reconfigured in this more distributed manner.
Correct. If you look at it, there are certain examples, certain industries are doing it, but we are always looking at them as new industries. And then we're saying disruptors.
Yes.
We haven't gone to the stage yet where it has the real impact on the society itself, that is, it disrupts the way we see society. That we're actually going back to how society used to be organized. The best one in our little group, our little village, is for hunting, goes hunting. The best one to take care of the harvesting of the crop, harvests the crop. The reward is society gives you back. If you're the hunter, you get the best piece of meat because you need to stay strong. And it was limited by the size you can communicate. Now imagine a network that is free for everybody.
Yes.
I agree with my old friend, the PS.
You listened to his interview yesterday, yes.
Of course, I listened to all your shows.
No, thank you. And you said actually that you had proposed this free internet business when you were at Swift.
We did it. Yeah. No, we did it in KDN 2008. Butterfly was free.
Yes.
Butterfly was free.
So you were ahead of your time, which is another risk in technology. You can be ahead and then suddenly some guy iterates and it's
well, we were so successful that I sold the company for a lot of money.
Yes.
And then somebody who followed believed more in the London Business School business case, like sell little pieces of the data you're having because you're making more money when you actually charge for it.
Yes.
While I had demonstrated that the cost of packaging it and selling it with scratch cards becomes more expensive than the actual income you're having from the broadband system.
Yes.
So we went creative. We said, what processes does it enable? What can we do over the top with it? And we go back this. We have the like Amiran is owned by Balton here.
Yes.
So our brand name here is Amiran, the technology side.
So just explain, because most people will think of Amiran from the agricultural technology side, won't they? That's the first name recognition I had, for example, but tell us what it is.
In Kenya, Amiran, the agriculture side is the bigger side, does very advanced greenhouses, irrigation and so on. We enable now from our technology side, which is 25 years old now, we start to enable more sensors, more IoT, more machine learning, more predictive behavior of the farmer. When you are saying what are the income levels of different industries.
Did you see that was the worst income was for the farmers?
And I'm saying it's because of the lack of equal knowledge.
Yes.
So if you look at even the financial sector, why does somebody in the financial sector earn so much?
Yes.
Because certain pieces of knowledge are kept proprietary and or restricted by regulation. Now, if you look again in my distributed world, this will go away. Because contribution to society is not measured in how much knowledge I keep away from the rest of the population. How much you share.
But how do you monetize that sharing activity within your society? So somebody, let's say, brilliant and the value that they're creating for that society is very high. Are you a capitalist or are you a communist?
I'm an absolute capitalist.
Yes,
but I believe capitalism is you work, you contribute to a society in exceptional way, and society will always find a way to have a reason to reward you higher, because then you will use this to contribute even more. This is how it works. You become a natural leader, not a leader by inheritance or whatsoever. There's very controversial thought processes you can do around it. How do you monetize it? How do you make sure there is no abuse? I think technology will be, because it's real-time measurement of what you're actually doing, technology will enable us to do a reward system that is absolutely capitalism, but will not be measured in how much can I steal from somebody or take from somebody, and then move on to go to a different society because I ruined this one. So I do.
So you're saying it's going to be more transparent, you will be pointed at, you have not added net value to the society.
You will be more measured like, do I do a long-term increase in the value of my company, in the products, in the services I'm providing, rather than, oh, I had a bad quarter, I fire a lot of people, as long as the other people are still willing to take the extra workload until they break down in a burnout, I actually make a higher profitability, I cash in my bonus and I leave. That's American capitalism, how I describe it. When I say we have to go more on a long-term trajectory, this is what I call, or what Germany calls, social capitalism. That it says, you know, it doesn't really help if you steal from somebody. You should be measured on creation, not in accumulation. So yes, you compete. If I compete, and you know I was a fierce competitor.
Very fierce, that's your DNA.
You compete, but you don't steal. You're actually providing a service, you're trying to provide it better, at a better rate, and this is how you grow your company. You're not going and sabotaging your competitor, you're not going and trying to sue your competitor out of business. You keep it straight, because suing, taking from somebody is not creating anything. I'm a big believer that the whole stock markets, and you and me have always disagreed. I believe trading in itself
is not a useful exercise.
Correct, because it used to be, I have a good idea, I find people who want to invest in my idea, and I give them a marketplace in case they need the money, not they want to cash out, but they need the money where they can find somebody else easier than on the street.
So let me ask you a question specifically about the stock market, because this is keep coming up a lot. Take something like Jumia. Loss-making, $1 billion of accumulated losses. Now, they went to New York in order to raise capital. Now, a business like that, a blitz-scaling business, which, you know, in order to hit that inflection point, you actually are trying to gain numbers. Investors will look through the losses and say, you know what, you're going after a $1 billion market. Fine, spend a bit of money going for that. Isn't that a useful exercise?
It would be if the market was restricted to the people who actually know what they're doing. You see, we had this way of a retail investor who looks for dividends.
Yes.
And then we had the speculative, more your angels and your round Bs and so on. They were looking at something like Jumia.
Yes.
Now to go public very early and to find retail investors who don't really understand the business case. Now, are they investing because they want the business to run? Or are they investing because they think that
there's price momentum
before it drops, they find an idiot who didn't know that it's going to
there's
drop?
always a bigger idiot.
Because the problem is it's a zero-sum game. If you want to make gains with a speculative trade, you have to find somebody who is making a loss.
Yes.
Otherwise, you could have made more gain.
Yes.
So yes, I am absolutely for a funding mechanism that is like the stock exchange, but I'm absolutely against this quick frequencies trading.
High frequency trading, which has taken over the global markets. I was looking at a report yesterday, 86% of the trading in New York Stock Exchange is done by quants and machines.
Yes, and they learn out of the retail investor. You see, you put a stop loss or something.
Oh, they'll find that stop loss.
Correct.
There's a science of hunting that stop loss and knowing where it is. And I agree with you. I think you'll have to come back and we'll discuss that separately. Now, as we were walking in, you were making this very important point about the velocity of knowledge and saying that it took 60,000 years, I can't remember exactly, to gain the same amount of knowledge as it's taking us how long to gain now?
A minute.
A minute. So what took 60,000 years is taking a minute.
Yes.
Are we living in a world that is moving at such a fast pace? Can we keep up with this world? I mean, can we actually organize and structure? If that knowledge is coming at us at that kind of speed, is it being distributed effectively? Are we able to move forward? Or is it just a deluge of information, like social media, and we can't get off it?
I think this is the big chance. I'm a believer for the last 20 odd years. I'm here. I'm a believer Africa is the future.
Yes.
Not because of.
Do you still believe that?
I still believe that.
Yes.
I still believe.
On what basis are you believing that? Sorry,
because it becomes more and more apparent that replicating what the West was doing, the so-called developed world, is not going to make us catch up. We inherit most of the problems, pollution, this and this and this, but we are actually not gaining grounds on that. So sooner or later, society, and especially with the millennials, with smart education that is happening here out of, my old quote, 30 years old, adversity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
And this is where I see sooner or later Africa will dare to change the structure of how society works, how business works, and say, okay, it doesn't work to just compete with the same SAP, same hierarchical structure, drawing boxes where I never find a person that fits in because either he's too big or he's too small. Distributing tasks, that is something that is very close to how more traditional society, like in Africa, many societies are still organized. We still all remember and have in our DNA, how you can interact with your neighbors without needing necessarily a mediator.
Yes.
I can give my neighbor a cup of sugar when I know him.
Yes.
And I have no risk. I know I get it back. I don't need a bank in between.
No.
Now a computer system can basically make everybody your neighbor because it can calculate the risk. Is Ali Khan a good guy?
Yes.
Can I give him $1?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yes. Or can I give him a Bitcoin, whatsoever?
Yes. I prefer the Bitcoin.
Depends what I want back from you.
Yes, that's right.
So now systems can actually work this out. If I still inherently have the feeling that, it's good to do peer-to-peer, because this is where the world was, and this is where the world with technology is moving. So yes, we can keep up, because actually we simplify our lives and use technology to make our simplified life way more productive. I told you years ago, we did this exercise calculating if you take everybody's hobby and everybody what people like to do.
Yes,
and
the passion.
You had the passion and you had no restriction in where they are, the people. So there's a little bit of esoteric thinking about it for now until you have 3D printers and you can actually rematerialize things. You will have a 30% overproduction in the world and nobody works. Everybody just does what they like to do. So my theory is,
yes.
after a while, we might be paying to work because it's like a hobby. But we get rewarded, again, out of contribution to society. As an economist, yes. I don't have to give you a date. You know, we look in trends.
Yes, yes.
So I'm always right.
Yes, I know.
Maybe I'm dead before I'm right. And, you know,
we're going to live forever now.
Yes. I did future workshops for the biggest banks of this world, and they didn't believe me when I was talking in 2008. I was talking about digital currencies and how, you know, you will no longer store money and lend it out to somebody. People will lend it to each other. You call it Augs money in Germany, yes. Lending club in the US. You know, you have a risk predicting algorithm,
yes.
20 people, and they lend out $200 billion.
So is it the end of the banking system as we know it? Are you one of those people who are evangelical about the new economic system that's coming, or do you think we're still in the birth pangs and we've still got a long way to go?
I think legacy systems survive very long.
They do.
Everywhere, world over.
Yeah.
Because you have so much lobbying, you have so much old-fashioned money where people still believe in the value of something that is being done. So, you know, Deutsche Bank now basically 1 in 5 goes.
A juggernaut.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
But what did they do? We can trade better. No, you can't trade better.
Yeah.
A computer can trade better. We used to pay talent, you still see it here in the financial sector, huge amounts of money because they have a skill set. They can predict the future. No, they can't. Actually, the future is made by a computer program that wants it to run in a certain way.
No, that's right. Today, it's algorithms reading the news that are trading the markets quite often.
Correct. So, do I say, does the banking sector go away? I would say the traditional method of a bank to store your money, lend it to somebody else and win out of the profit in between, that's dead. That's the same why I was brought to Balton and Amiran. The old-fashioned thing, I wait for somebody needs a network, somebody needs a security system, comes to me and says, I need a security system. I spec it out, I deliver it. He has a security system. No, I'm going to a customer and say, okay, what do you want to achieve with your company? What do you want to have?
Yes.
Let me build a business case around it. Why not a camera being a sensor that predicts how many people are going in your shop, how many coffees you are going to sell?
Yeah.
I did a project with a coffee shop under, you know, this big company with the colorful letters I was working for. We did the coffee shop. We could predict if, Ali Khan, you come in today half an hour early, the cashier will ask you for a double shot.
Yes.
Because you must be tired. You got up half an hour early.
Brilliant. So you can predict.
Yes. You're 80-90% right.
Wow.
You know, people in masses is big data.
Yes.
People always think, I know too much about this person. You want to know about the trends.
The mass.
Again, the mass.
Yes.
What we call big data. And the same is, everything I want to give to my client should not cost him money. When we develop software, it should increase your productivity more than it actually ever costs you to run that software. If I give you a security system, it should actually improve the way you are working more than the security system costs you. So we started a lot of analytics and you know, deep recognizing patterns in what's happening. And like a Wi-Fi network, you can make more money out of just selling marketing data. I did a project in the biggest shopping mall in New England. We were looking at it because of that coffee shop thing. We were wondering, usually you have a certain quota of dollars spent in an income area on a shopping mall in the food court.
Yes.
So when you're renting out the food court stores,
you
know what rent you can ask for because the income will, you don't want them to die all the time.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yes. Yeah. So we looked at that shopping mall, and that shopping mall had crazy traffic. Traffic. So we said, very good, you know, must be good. We looked at the figures on the food court, nothing.
Why was that?
We were wondering. So I sat there, good old Kai, human analytics.
Yes.
We didn't have the data.
Tasting all the food.
So I was looking at this, and then we put Wi-Fi in the store.
They didn't have Wi-Fi.
They had Wi-Fi. Well,
okay.
We put analytics on the Wi-Fi because what I saw, I wanted to verify with data.
So there were you could count the number of people coming through.
Yes, because everybody who has a Wi-Fi chip, even if they don't log on, you know that they're coming. And I tracked how they're walking through. They were using it as a shortcut between one part of the town to the other part of the town, especially when it was raining. So I went to the owners of the shopping mall. I said, if you change the escalator from here going up instead of going down, and this one going down instead of going up.
What difference did it make?
300%. Triple.
Kai,
Triple.
you're like Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is
You're the Bitcoin guy.
this is just by looking at human behavior.
And do you think that those kinds of gains to be had in Africa? Because this is the theory. I meet people who tell me, oh, it's a leapfrog, and then we're not getting 300% gains, Kai. Why are we not getting those sorts of gains you're describing?
Because you have still too many people clinging on the old system because they're making good money with it.
Yes. And when do they get disrupted, in your view?
I think when the next crisis hits.
Yes.
It's always, my hope is always the next crisis.
You think a crisis is an opportunity?
A crisis is an opportunity for systems to reorganize themselves. On political, like look at Arab Spring.
Yes, which has now jumped the Sahara, right? In 2011, when we had the Jasmine Spring, everyone said it's never coming here.
Yeah.
But every day you look at what's happening in Sudan, you look at what's happening all over. So talk to us, let's end on that note, right? I mean, how is it affecting society? What is happening? You know, if I look at the African continent, it strikes me as very fluid now. You know, 30, 40 years ago, you'd wait for the nation. Hardly anyone had a phone. Today, everyone's on social media. They know what's going on. Is this also changing the way our societies are operating?
Yes, I think it's already changing. It's no longer that easy to tell lies.
Yes.
To be a leader by not performance, by a leader because you keep other people beyond the knowledge.
But we also have populist policy making, right? Where we're feeding people maybe...
Populism is a wave, in my opinion.
It's
not a long-term trend.
No.
Populism always comes up if somebody still believes that you can tell him something until he has the tools to verify it's not true.
Yes.
So you believe my president, for example, I have a dual-taken passport, you believe him as long as you can't verify it.
Yeah.
So you have, at the moment, you have this balkanization of the internet that I only read the news that I get served by somebody, but even that will break down over time.
You think it'll break down?
Yes, it will break down.
Wow.
People ultimately want to know. Human race exists because we were curious. We don't exist because we wanted to stay in the cave. We would have died out.
Yes.
And I believe everything gravitates to the roots over time. You have, what is 60,000 years in the time of the world? What is the last 250
I was
years?
thinking, we're like a blink of an eye when you look at it like that, right?
Correct.
I mean, how many years? Big Bang, 13, 14 billion, right? The first bacteria, 3.5 billion.
Yes.
And we've been here like, you know, we speak of 2,000 years as if it's like eternity.
Yes. You might even believe that after a while the whole concept of a body might not exist anymore. I mean, you're going more into intellectual questions. You remember when I said maybe in 2030 you can upload somebody's complete brain content into a cloud system.
Yes. I remember
question is, can you load it back?
I thought you were barking mad when you said that.
Well, now my question is still the ethical one is, you and me want to have a discussion, but you and me at the same time want to be at the beach with our families.
So can't we be at the beach and have a discussion?
So we upload our us into the cloud so we can have our discussion.
Yes.
Cool. Now we come back from the beach. Are we allowed to switch off what we put in the cloud?
Yes. Are we?
No, because you've created life. Because these two, Ali Khans and Kais, had a different discussion. They have made different experiences.
Yes.
So suddenly you have created life, not in the religious sense, but you know, this
Have you read Yuval Noah, the Israeli writer, Homo sapiens, and he's thinking a lot like what you're describing. Would be worth reading.
Yes.
This has been a fascinating discussion. You've got to come back. You tell me you're back in town 10 days a month, so we'd love to have you back because these sorts of discussions we don't get to have. And I'm really glad we've caught up after all those years. And it's a privilege to have you back in the studio. Thank you so much, Kai.
Thank you for listening to my weird thoughts.
You make me think. That is of value to any society. And that's what I appreciate the most.
Thank you.
This was Metropole TV. This was The Smart Investor. My guest today was I don't know how to describe him, the polymath, Kai Wulff, technology guru. I've known Kai since the technology market first started, and it's been a privilege catching up today. Do catch us between 8 and 9 p.m. on Metropole TV. We're on GoTV, we're on YouTube Live, and it's been a pleasure being with you this evening.